Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. And this, you are welcome back to the second part of the first chapter we did. So I'll be going through the second chapter now. So if you have not joined our community, Alt in Cyber, you can check the description on this video on the YouTube channel, and you have access to the link. And the textbook we are treating is on the group also. I can send that to you, or you can get it on the group. It's already on the group. So please do go to like, share, and click the like button and give it a thumb up so that other people can see and benefit from this. I'm just doing this for free. So thank you so much. So okay, now this is the list of in integration with what we have in the textbook. These are the commands we'll be learning today. So what I did was to update a little bit of the commands and see how relevant they are to each other and how they can support each other. So I'm just looking at the interaction between those commands. So as at last time we stopped here, we stopped at ls, which is list. So okay, we stopped. Okay, we stopped at ls. So there's a few things we are going to talk about here. Then here now, I'm going to talk about how we can use AI too. You don't need to memorize anything. You don't need to. The more you use them, and programmers are the best researchers. You should be able to check online and be able to solve your solution. You solve your problem. Looking at places like W3 School, um, looking at Stack Overflow, looking at cross reference and all of that. Just put it online, but at least artificial intelligence can quickly help you get directly to where you are going to. So we are kickstarting. My VMware is up. So this is my VMware. So let's just start it up. Okay. So it's still loading. Let's wait. So today we're starting with ls. We've done a little bit about ls. So there's two things I want to introduce now, so that is it coming up. So there's two things I'm introducing now. That is why the reason why I said documentation is very important is whenever if you take a good look at a lot of modules or anything that has been created, you see documentation for them so that people can know how to use them, be able to reference them and use them whenever you want to. You understand? So that's the more reason why we have them. So we are in. So like I said, if it is a default Kali Linux you have on your system, have you not altered anything, your username and your password is going to be Kali. So we are in. Now, the two things we are going to talk about first is man. So let me start my OneNote. So I'm getting my terminal ready, and I'm just going to use a terminal. Then I'm going to split it open. I don't have. Okay, I have 4 terminals here already. I only need one. So here we can use Ctrl Shift, and there's one more thing we can do. You can come to your, that should be edit. No, come to preference. It's too transparent. I'm looking at the background, so we can come to application transparency. So, and I think we can totally put it at 100. Let me just do 100. It's still preference, application transparency. It's still here. Okay, let's do 100. We apply it, and it's not allowing. Okay, let's see if I can. Let's do 100. So what I just did is just place my cursor here, and if you are using Just find a way to just make it 100. I think so. That's simple. I don't need to explain. Uh, was it? Is that total appearance? Let me put it at 0. I think 0 will make it opaque. Okay. So apply. Okay, we are here. So it's very dark now. It's not transparent. You can't see what is behind. Okay. Let me just expand this a bit, and we are good to go. Expand this a bit. So the first thing we'll be talking about is let me do this is 9. This is part 2, basic commands. So let's say this is 1. So we're looking at man, and both of them are almost the same thing. So, and help, and I think it can be used as -h also. So help. So that's my documentation. Never forget that documentation is very, very important. If you can, as well as much as you can, please document so that you can make reference to them whenever you need them again. So here now, let me pop this one up. Remember what we did here. You use Control Shift plus, just so that you can see whatever it is I'm doing. So I hope this is bold enough. Please, if it is not, you can leave comments, and or possibly in our community you can tell me about it so that I can adjust some of those things. So just make suggestion on things you want me to improve upon. So let's go from here. So the first thing is, let's go back to ls. You remember we talk about ls. Ls is list. It gives you list of what you have in that particular directory. And taking a good look at this, we are in our home now. This is our home directory. So if I do ls, it gives me the list. We have desktop, download, pictures, templates, document, and music. So from here now, remember there's a lot of things we can do. We can decide to want to go to the root level, which is our file system. We can go cd that's backward slash, no, that's forward slash, that's forward slash. So that takes us to our roots. If I do my ls here again, I have everything here. So now let's go back to cd. I want to go back to my home directory. I'm using the tilde. Here I am, ls. I have this list. Let's clear this off. Now I said man is the same thing as manual. So whatever function you want to use, if you don't really remember or just want to get an understanding of everything you can do. Now every function, most function have options to be able to include flags. What we call flag is whenever you type in your function, this is my ls is my main function. Flag, you have them as hyphen l. They are represented by numbers, they are represented by alphabet. Ls mean, now look at the difference between ls. This is ls, and let's look at ls plus flag l. Look at it now. It gives you more information. It gives you more information about the file. Now here is telling us this file is a directory. It has the permission read. Now there's something, we have groups. We'll talk about that later, but I'll just be touching on it a little now. All of this will take time to understand them later, but the D here indicates that this folder we have here, which is desktop, this one is a directory. Directory and folder are the same thing. R stands for read, W means write, X means execute. Then we have write again, nothing, we have execute, we have write, nothing, and we have execute. What it's trying to say is at the root level, every root has the permission to do everything. All the three, if you look at it, all the three here, the first one is your root, the next three is group, and the last one is going to be the user. So this is how, that's why sometimes when you click on some files on your system, they tell you don't have permission. It's because of things like this, because there's a permission level for every folder depending on who is opening it. There are some files that open, if they are opened by root, a user don't have access to them, but roots have access to everything, and those permissions can be set by default. I think, yeah, some come by default, but you can set all of this permission, but that's not where I'm going to. Look at this. It is still the same ls that we have here, but ls here, then I've added a flag l. Now, let's take time to understand what flag hell is. That is where your man and your help comes in. It gives you more details about the flags you have for any particular function and what their function is. So now, if I do ls hyphen h, no, let's do this hyphen. You can type it out fully for some function. Okay, now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's do this as I need to reduce this font. You might not be able. Okay, now let's go back to the beginning. Now this is where I used help. So this hyphen h, but I think for some you use hyphen h, it works, but for some majorly just use hyphen help. So what it's going to do is going to tell us more. This is just a summarized version of what the function ls. It talks about the usage ls. Then this option here that is stated, this is the format for using it. This is the format. Now it's telling us ls option. This option is where you can put your flags here. Now we have list information about the files. So there's something it's telling us again. It's telling us if we use ls, we can use a flag, then we can put file or folder. But we'll touch on this by the time I teach us how to create file and folder, how to add file and folder. So I should be reminded. I will remember. But if I don't, that means in the next video I'm going to show that. So here we come to mandatory argument to long options are mandatory for short options too, something like that. Now hyphen a means all. Hyphen a, it means this is the short form and this is the long form. Let me check for help. Let me see what they use for help. Now okay, human readable, hyphen h is something else. It gives us human readable format. Okay, so for this to be well organized, I don't like it this way. We can do it again. Then I had less. This less is another function. Less and more are functions that help you limit the output of whatever it is. So you look at it now. This one is cleaner. It minimizes it. Helps you have if you have like something of 100 pages. If you use less, it might just open the first page. So by the time you click enter, then it takes you to the next page. So something like that. It's just for you to minimize and not have everything crowd the screen of your system at once. So you give you the privilege and the opportunity to minimize them, see them one after the other instead of crowding the whole of your system. So that is what that does. So from here now, just, and again, one beautiful thing is that's where I said AI should come in. You can say copy. Oh no, I've forgotten. We use Control Shift copy, Control Shift C, Control Shift C. Here now, Control Shift C. I've copied it already, so I can bounce outside here. No, this is now Copilot. Can I use it? Okay, I can use my Copilot. So I can say, please. Now this is, I'm using an AI. This comes with your, Edge. You can use it on Edge, but new version of Windows has it separated. So I have it here on my taskbar. So, or you can use any AI you've been using. So we can talk about some of that later. I can say, please explain this code line by line with examples for better understanding. So now that we have the power of AI, so I believe the sky is the starting point for everyone. So now if I do this now, I always use ChatGPT. So what it does is it's going to go through each of those code and explain what they are doing. I hope this guy is going to do it. If it is ChatGPT, you'll be having it now. I don't know why Copilot is taking long. Then the response is so slow. Please, if you have a ChatGPT, please do that. Okay, now so this code is a combination of two commands, ls and less. So the option for shows the usage, and this is it. So it's going to show you the usage like I've said. Now we are going to use some of them. Now we have all, we have hyphen a, Hey, do not list implied. Okay. This one is talking about if you have full stop here and we have two full stop. Sometimes this full stop, we talked about this tells us the singular full stop is if you want to run something within a directory. We'll talk about that when we get there. Please just don't forget some of these things. When you have two full stop dot dot, it means you want to move out of that directory. You are moving back up. We talked about that in our last lesson. Like, okay, you digging deep, going through a directory from one directory to another, then you wanting to bounce back. So that is what that implies. Please, what you can do is the most relevant one, the most ones we needed now is what I'm going to talk about. But please, you can take a look at them, and you can even ask ChatGPT to generate examples of where and how, when and how you can use some of these things. But those ones that we use very, very well, very, very recursive. Okay, I use recursive very well. We use recursive very well. Time, sort by time. Okay, this is sorting by time, like time that your folder have been created. So, okay, let's do some of them. There's one that we use very well. You see ls hyphen al. So you see that it's giving us more. Now you remember that when you just use ls alone, let me choose ls alone. Look at it, my desktop has nothing. Then all the hidden folders were not shown. But when I use ls hyphen la or al, all the hidden files, all of this. So files that are created that has full stop in front of them are hidden files. So if you want to create a file and you don't want it to show, if you don't want it to show, you can do this. So let me just create one. Let me just say alt in cyber. So I can do make. Okay, this is another function we are taking note of. Make directory. This makes it's to create directory. Just like we have videos here, I can create directory too, as we have public. So we are going to create all things cyber. So once I click this, now if I do ls again, now look at it, all things cyber is here and it's a folder. So, and if I don't want it to show, I can recreate it again, use the same name. Sorry, please, I'll be back in a moment. So like I was saying, now if you are creating a directory that has the same name as that has the same name as an existing directory, it will overwrite. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So let's do something like that. I've created this initially. I want to make it hidden now. So I can just I'll do Control Shift Control. Then I come back here. Okay. Let me check if this is recording and my voice is captured. Okay, this is done. So I can do make directory again. And remember I told you can always do so. Okay, now what we want to do now is we'll be taking our time to create this again. So like I was saying, if you're making a directory and the name already exists before in that particular part, then definitely to be overwriting it. So what I want to do is I want to overwrite what I just created now. Okay, now to be sure that this is a directory, because directory, you can go into a directory, but for a file, for a document, for a file, you can only read a file or use them, but you can't go into them because they can't hold anything else. So I can just say cd all, and I know it's only the one there, so I just use tab to auto complete and use your enter. So I'm inside this now because it's a folder. I've created this as a folder. So I'm jumping back now. Let's just go. Remember what we did, cd dot dot, and we are back here. So if I do ls, I'm here, so I can clear it, do ls again, show you. Then I want to create all things cyber, but I want to make it hidden. I'll do make directory. Let me just pick this and go back here, then just add, okay, just come and just add the full stop in front of it. So if I do enter now, I've created it again. It overrides what I have. No, it might not override. So that means I'm going to be having two alt in cyber now. I have those, the one you can see and the one you can't see, the hidden one and the unhidden one. So now let's do ls. We have alt in cyber, but this is still here, it's just not showing. So if I want to see it, I can say print all. I can do ls -l, which is show everything, both hidden and unhidden. Then a means show everything that is all. Or let's check what -l was. I think let's open another this thing here. Let's do ls -help. So let's see what l is. ls. So the small l is use a long listing format. So long listing format is just for formatting. Then the a is print all. So that is the particular one that handles the fact that you want to see everything. So now let me come back to this part. Let's do ls -la. Now take a very good look at this. He gave me this, we saw this, and look at the alt-in cyber that I just created. This one here. So so how many commands have we just touched now? We touched ls, we touched help. Then just like help, we have man is manual. So the way we use help is we have it as a flag in front of the function, but man will come before, it precedes the function you want to use. So if I'm using it against ls now, let me use it here, and so that we can compare it with what we have with when we use help. So let me do man, man, then ls. Look at what I just typed here, man, then ls, this. So let me increase this a bit. So now when you use enter, this one gives you more details and is more it has more of explanation. So help seems like a summarized version of your manual. Help seems like a summarized version of your man. So that is, so here you have more, it's more verbose, and you have all of what you can read. Take time to just read them. It's almost the same thing. So help, it shows you these things, it shows you the author and all of that. So it's not all of these flags you use, but as time goes on, when you need to do some few other things, you can always just check which and which is usable in that particular for what you are doing at that particular time. So let's come back to this place now. So let me just update this. I've showed you how to use man, how to use help. Help is just for you to just look at all those flags you can use with your functions and how to use them. Sometimes flags, when you go to manual man or help, you will get the syntax for that particular function. Now look at this. Now this is the syntax for this. This is the syntax for this. This is the syntax for this. So one thing we're now going to do again is, let's come back here. Let's come here. So what I want to do now is yeah, before I forget, do you remember how we create tabs on our Kali? Control Shift T. Control Shift T. Control Shift T. Okay, let me do Control Shift T. You see, just to create multiple tab, and you can move between your tab. And I talk about how we can rename our tab. That is so. Now we've talked about man, we talked about help. So one thing again I want us to go through now. Let me look at the list I'm following. But now I want us to, we got man, help. Then okay, let's talk about, I've talked about how to create directory. Let's talk about how to create files. We talk about two here is creating directory. Make dir. It's almost intuitive, like you can just read meaning to it. This is make directory. Make directory. Then 3 now, let's go to make directory, how to create files. So for files, So creating files. For creating files, we can use touch. We can use echo. So now we'll talk about it. Now echo is like, okay, now I want to write something to the system and I want the system to reproduce it out. Okay, now I can say I want to write something, then I want the computer to now print it out. Take it as a command and print it out. So now, if you are conversant, if you know how to, if you have been coding before, something similar in Python where you use print, statement. So here I can say echo, then you put it in braces, you put it in parentheses, open and close. I can say my name is Arcterminus. Terminus. This is okay. All things cyber community. And you know what our community stands for? We are teaching cybersecurity for free. Give you all the basics, then we'll proceed. And we are doing this in a unique way that we are going through textbooks. So everything is coherent and well organized. So if I type this out and I say enter, it reprints it out. My name is Arcterminus. This is all things cyber. So there are other things you can use this to do. But as time goes on, just know that with echo, I can say echo again. Echo. This is my first code. Same thing. Let's do it again. Echo hello world, because I know that is the first thing coders always say you should print. I think that is like okay, if I'm using this, let me see if I will be able to, if I should do this and this, if it's going to okay, it's not because of the how would I say, because of the string, because of the character I'm using here. So I can just say, let me just take this off. Hello world. Okay, this is my first code. So we have hello world. So from here now echo helps you print out. Now there are two things. Then so what we can do now is we can echo statements out or echo things out and pass them into a file. So that's in that way you are creating a file. We can just pass it into a file that is not existing before. So if that file is not existing, echo creates it. But if it is existing, it just either paste it in or send that to overwrite every other statement you have in that. So we'll do some few things now. So let's say I come back to this. This is too long. Here, echo. Then you can use a greater than sign, which means overwrite, like send into this file and overwrite. So I can just put any name of a file here. Just say, let me say first no, let me say file one .txt. You can either use .txt or just leave it. If you do it this way, yeah, it's going to create it as a file.txt, which is an extension for test file. So when I do this, already this file has been created and that file is in our home. Is in our home. So I can say ls check. Now if you check, now one significant way you can differentiate between folder and file is because folders or directories are, how would I say, they are in bold and they are colored. So now I could do cd all things. I can cd into all things and do this. It takes me into it. Then let me just go back using this. Then if you try that with file, it will not work. File 1, it will tell you not a directory. I don't know if you understand what we are trying to say. Now let me clear. So what I just did now is try to cd into cd into a folder. Where is it? Cd into a folder and try it for a file. Now I'm able to cd into this. I can do so cd full stop, that's period, then to step out of it. Now I want to try it for file. So what I'm just doing, I'm just using my up direction arrow on your keyboard just to have access to all of those commands I've initially created. So when I do this, it will tell me no directory. So let's clear. It's because it's not a directory. Clear. Now this is where another command comes in. Clear. Now when you have a file and you want to read the content of a file, the function we use for that is called cat file 1. So it's going to show me now. This shows me the content of what I have in file 1. Now notice I have, this is my first code. Now there's something I want to do. You see this function, this greater than, we have two versions. We have one that is append and we have this overwrite. This one is what I use to create this. Let me create another file. Let me say file, no, let's say echo. This is my second code. So you can use your direction arrow to move between whatever you have typed before you now use your enter. So now my cursor is on 1. If I want to delete 1, I use delete. But if my cursor is in front of 10, I want to delete what is behind, I use my backspace to delete. So take note of that. I have my here and this is 2. When I create this file has already been created. Now if you look at it, I have two files. I have, if I do ls, I have file 1 and file 2. So now what I want to do is, let's clear, let's cat file 1. Now we have cat file 1. Then I want to echo another thing into file 1 because file 1 already exists now. So I can say echo. Now this is an overwrite. Please, you can do it this way too. Overwrite. Overwrite using let me see if this is going to work using this. That's the command we used. So now what is going to happen is, no, I'm going for file 1. This, all of this will overwrite what we have here. It will not add to it. So in case sometimes you just want to add to it, not remove it. So now when we do this, now if I should go back to my code here and just use enter, and I now cat file 1 again, cat file 1. Now overwrite using this is what we have now, because it has overwrite what we have inside the file initially. It did not add to it. Now I will now show you how to use append. Append does not overwrite, rather it adds to the content of what you have in that file initially. So I can come back to say, now we're going to use file 2 for this. Let's say cat, let's do clear cat file 2. This is my second code. Now I want to add something to it. I can now say echo I am appending this to file 2. Let's close it. Then we do greater than, it append. That's sign for append, to append. Please do your documentation as you're doing this. Just document, and don't worry, we are going to do something. Most of these files we are creating, we are going to move them somewhere on your system, or we can create another directory to now name it. We can name it tutorial, we can name it fundamental, we can name it Linux basic for hackers. You can just name it anything, but we're going to do that. Now we are going to attach this to file 2. We are appending this to file 2. Notice in file 2 we have, this is my second code. So if we append this now, we will still have, this is my first code, and we are going to have this. That is what we are driving at. So if I do this, if I do a cat, if I do cat is to read file 2. If you read file 2 now, so you have this is my second code. I am appending this to file 2. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So what we did now is to overwrite and to append. So if I have 1000 file, if I have other contents that I want to add, okay, let's say echo, it worked, but it worked fine with the appending. So I can just append this again to file 2. Now we can now say cat file 2 again, and we have this is my second code. I am appending this to file 2. It works with the appending. So this is the 2 dimension of it. Please take note of it. Take very good note of it. So let me just say I have this. Okay, now we just work on echo. How to use echo in combination with echo works with okay, and this echo with creating file. Okay, echo using greater than sign, which is for write. This is to overwrite, and we have this, which is for this is to appending. So in most cases you can always remember, I told you, if I am the one doing it, I can always just take a screenshot of what we have just done. Let me take this one off, so I can take screenshots. Okay, what we do is, someone was complaining about taking screenshots, it's not working. So if you are in your virtual machine, your print screen or your shift print screen will not work for your from your green dot. So what you do is come outside there, click on this, then I can use my, just click on your taskbar or click anywhere outside your VM. Now the only way I can click outside my VM is to use the task manager, sorry. So I just use shift print and it's out. I can just come here, and please take screenshot as much as possible to validate whatever it is that you're writing in your documentation. And remember, this documentation, you can attach them to your GitHub. We'll talk about that later, and they can be your proof of concept that you've done these things. So here, copy, then I come here, and okay, let this go in a bit. I come here, so instead of my C, I have this here, so I can remove the C. I can remove the C here, take this off. No, so I can put this in here, then put my C here if you want to continue listing. So just work with it, play with it. There's a lot you can do with this, but documentation is paramount and is very, very important. It will save you a lot. There are a lot of things I'm tending to forget now, but I know I have where I write them, because if you are not using something often, they tend to just leave your brain. They tend to leave your brain. So they tend to leave one's brain. So now just do your documentation. I'm just making reference to that a little. So we've been able to use echo to create file. So you can use echo to create files that are not existing. Now let me create let me say echo. You can even echo blank into a file just to create a file. I can echo blank into it, that okay, I'm not writing anything, I just want to use this technique to create a file. And remember that if you are not planning to add, if you are not appending, the first one you can just use your override to create the file, because already there's nothing in the file. So I can just say blank, I can say blank. So if I do ls, I have my blank. Now I can say cat blank, and you have nothing in blank because nothing has been. So I can now go back to say echo I used this to create blank initially. So here now you can either use your append or use your override. Remember that we don't have anything in blank already, so let me just use override. So I do blank. You can just complete it with tab. This now, if I do cat for blank now, and I have something in blank. So this is what we are talking about in this. So please, I'm taking time to drill down on this thing because the basics and the fundamental are the most important. So by the time we get elsewhere, you wouldn't have missed anything at all. Then you can just build upon it. So let's clear this. We are done with. And if there's any other thing you don't understand in this, you can drop it in the community channel on Telegram. Then we talk about it. I know a few other people's that know very much about this. They can talk about it. I would come talk about it. You understand? So here now we do touch. So touch directly creates a file and is not passing anything into it. It just creates the file, just as we have directory. So we can say touch, then the name of what name do you want to give to the file? Let's say file touch, file underscore touch, file underscore touch, like this. If I say create, if I say ls, let's see this now. This is file touch. So this already, it creates just a blank file. Now if we want to check the format of this file, I think our ls hyphen hell, let's see what hyphen hell will give us. So it's not telling us. Is it telling us? Okay, I thought it's okay. It doesn't give us the extension. I was trying to look if it's going to give us an extension with this, but we don't have extension here. We don't have extension here. So now, but notice that for our files 1, 2, 3, if you come down here we don't have the D there, which shows that it's not a directory, it's a file. It's not a directory, it's a file. So let's say we do ls hyphen al. Now look at it. We have all of those, all of the hidden files. So now what we'll do next is, now let me go back to let's go back here. Now the next thing we're supposed to do here is, what we're supposed to do is the ls. We've done ls and we have added to it so that we can see more. So let's quickly, okay, ls, it did not do much here. Being intrigue image media. Okay, what they did here was, I told you we won't be deviating too much away from our file, so that we don't okay, this way. I want this to come out this way so I can pick it. Take this up a little, so this up a little. So here now, let's clear. What they have there was, let's do cd. What they did was cd, they went to the root, the file system, cd, then it did ls, and it gives in beam home. So I'm trying to replicate what we have here. So this is what it did here, beam, then it's just arranges them and lists them out. Beam, you have the boot, dev, etc, you have the home and all of that. So this is what they did. They came here, this command lists both the file and directly contained in the directory. So you can also use this command on particular directory, not just the current. Now yeah, this particular part is saying, I think I remember, I just forgot. Now let's go back to, now if I want to, let's go into home. No, okay, let's go into bin. We can do cd into bin because we're already here in this file level, and this directory, these are the contents we have in it. Then we can initially just go into it, bin. Now we are in bin, and let's say ls. So this is what we have in bin. These are the file, the folder, the executables we have. You notice that the color is quite different. It's because this is a function. This is a function, and they are executable. Though we can check them and see what makes up the code. We can check them and see what makes up the code. So here now, let's go back. Cd ... We are back in our root level. So one thing we can do from here is we can check the content of bin without changing directory into bin. So we can do ls. We just do /bin, or I think we can just use bin alone. Bin, and we do this. So we are in our root level, and we want to check what is in the bin without moving into bin file. So if I do this now, it's still going to give us the same thing as initial. Okay, let's do this. Let's go. I'm going to add this zdump. So let's do this and do /zdump. Now we want to check the list of another folder that is inside bin. Now what we are doing is this ls will go into bin, go to zdump, and check the content of zdump. So this is another way you use it. If I say enter, so it's giving me the content of what we have in our zdump. In our zdump we have this, so I can add this to it to even go further and see what we have inside this. So I can do this slash again, then I do Ctrl+Shift+V. It's not giving me, let's say bin. Okay, I think here now this is a file, not a folder again. It's a file, not a folder. So we can't go you can't check. You can only cut what you have inside a file. Now if you look at it, let me try. You notice that by the time I included this here, let me come here, it is not giving us it is not, how will I say, this is not bolded, because ls cannot work on this. That's why it can work on this. That's why this one is bold. And so that shows that this is a file. So instead, what I can do now is, let's come back here and change this to cat, because if it's a file, we should be able to cut it. So let's see. Okay, it's not a directory. I'm not cutting. Yeah, I'm cutting. This is not supposed to be. Okay, but I think it's not cat bin /zdump /bin. Okay, I think we have this in this. Okay, that's the file itself, but this file has been encrypted. That's why it has been obfuscated this way. Obfuscated. You understand? It has been obfuscated, so we can't really see it has been, how would I say, shattered or disassembled, so that it's not readable. So we can just come back here. Let's say clear and cd. Okay, now I don't know if you understand what we're trying to say. What we're trying to say is you can be in a file and want to check something far inside the file just by using ls and calling the directory if you are in that directory. But if you are not in that directory, I can just look for, okay, now let me come to this place. Now let's come here. Let's use our print directory, print working directory, pwd. Here now I want to check the content of what we have in Kali while still in my root folder, my root level. Let's do no, this is what I want to do. This, then Ctrl+Shift+C. Now let's come back here. I can be here. Look at this print working directory for this. This is in my root folder. Let's do ls so that we are sure we are in my root folder. But I want to check what we have in my Kali, so I can do ls / include this here. here, so I can check what is inside my Kali while I'm still here. So if I do enter now it gives me all I have in my Kali even without going there. The only thing I needed is to use the path to that particular directory. So if I do ls here now, I am still in my root file. I'm still in my root file. I'm still in my file directory. I don't know if this is well understood, so I'm just trying to break this up and see the different dimension and how we can use these things. So now I'm going to clear this. That is what he was talking about here. You can also use this command on any particular directory, not just the one you are currently in, by listing the directory name after the command. For example, ls/etc. I just demonstrated that. Now to get more information about the file and directory such as this, it talks about -l switch after. The L stands for long last for formatting. It makes the formatting very okay and all of that. That is what it does for formatting. So as you can see, this provides us with a significant more information such as whether an object is a file or a directory. Here when I was talking about the D and when you don't have the D, the D means directory. When you don't have the D as an hyphen, is a file. So I'm trying to move very fast because there's lots and I'm trying to wrap it into one hour. So LSLA gives us, I've used that, gives us a lot of information. That's all there, where we'll be able to see our and I've done that. Let me show it again. We have ls hyphen al or hyphen la. Anyhow you want to write it, it's still the same thing. Here now we are able to see more files and those hidden files, especially when I was doing it with the directory. Now what I said the other time, we can still do ls. So let's clear. Now I can do ls hyphen la, then the file path like I did initially. This one we can still do it and it still works, and we are still in our file system folder, but we can check what is in our home Kali. Just ensure that the path is correct, and the path when you use ordinary will take you to that particular directory. Then you can use them with other functions. So if I use enter here, now I'm seeing what I have in my home directory under user Kali. This is it, where we have all this one. Remember I created this, so I'm going to teach you how we are going to how we delete it, all this now. So now we've shown that. Let's go back to the textbook. I've added some few. So what they did here, okay, now it's just showing us how to use help here. He said nearly every command application utility has a dedicated help file. They have a dedicated help file or manual. So you can either call them, you can call the manual, you can call the help. So using the best wireless, okay, if I needed help using the best wireless cracking tools, which is aircrack-ng, I will simply type the aircrack-ng command followed by. So if I want to use this command and I don't really know the syntax or know what all of the flags works for or how to use it, we can just come here. Let's do the same thing. I'm pretty sure we have that aircrack, and if we don't have it, we are going to use another. We have aircrack-ng. Okay, it's here. You notice how the color changes. Aircraft-ng and this hyphen, then we use help. So this is it here. Okay, aircraft, it gives you information about the person that created it and all of that. So if you want to read more about it, you can go to this link. So there's a lot of reading in cybersecurity if you want to. It's not even if you want to, you need to keep updating and learning, but once you have the basics, you can always scale. Scaling is quite very easy. Now they talk about the usage. This is how you use it. We have aircrack-ng. We have the option, the input file. So that means it requires you to input files. The options, remember we talked about it, they are flags, and here are the flags. Your A stands for A mode, force attack mode. This is probably, if you look at, these are the security layers we have on our wireless. They are the one we have on our wireless. What do we call it? Our wireless application or wireless devices, wireless signal itself. So the E is we are looking for the ESSID, stands for identity. So target selection, network identifier, and all of that. So this is it here. it gives you more info about this. So when we're using this, we'll talk about them. Note that the double dash here, the convention in Linux is to use a double dash before word options. Then if you just want to use a letter function, let's see if letter is going to work. I tried it the other time. If you see if letter is going to work, that one is help. So now if you are using word, you use this, you use just one hyphen, but if you use two hyphen, but if you are using just a singular letter H to represent help, then you use this. Okay, this file does not have it. Some file has it that way, that you can just use hyphen H as help depending on the creator. Clear? So let's move in here. So when you enter this command, you will see this, that. Okay, look at, it's giving example of those ones that use just one single. So it said in some cases you can use either hyphen H or just hyphen alone to get the help file. For instance, if I needed, okay, nmap is a very great tool that we will use very well. We use it for scanning, and you use it for scanning, port scanning, and you can even use it to identify hosts on your network. You can identify there's lots you can do with it. You can identify vulnerability when you connect it to the NSC, which is an nmap security engine. When you use that, so when we get there, we'll cross the bridge. So let's try for nmap. We have nmap, and we have hyphen H, and it worked. Viola. Let's see if double hyphen is going to work also. Help. It worked also. So it depends on the creator. It works here, and same thing there. So look at it now. They give example of how to use it. So we scan, but we've not gotten here. So when we get here, we are going to cross the bridge, and we'll talk about it. So let's clear again. I told you when your screen is a bit overwhelmed with information, you can just clear it up. Now they're not talking about referencing manual pages, and I've talked about manual pages when you use man. So you can try this out. I've already I've discussed this above during the course of this recording. Let me see how far we've gone. This is 1 hour. I'm taking my time to really explain these things so that we'll understand it. So finding stuff. Until you become familiar. Now, before we get to finding stuff and all of that, now let's go back to I'll go back to what's my track now, then add some few other things. Let's go to CD. Let's go to home. ls. So if you print working directory, you already know print working directory, we're in home /Kali as a user. Remember we did who is, who am I, who am I, and we did what command did we do again? We did a host name then. So now we can say clear. Let me just clear that I'm sure I'm here now. ls. Now we created file. Let's look at how can we delete files. So let me create 2 more files, and I will leave one. I just leave one just to remind myself that we did something like delete. I can say file this, then come back. Let's do deal. File deal. That's file delete 1. Then I'm doing it again. Let's do file delete 2. So I'm going to delete. Let's do ls. Look at it now. We have file deal 1, file deal 2. So what we do now is you want to delete file 1, and if you want to delete, we use rm, which is remove file deal 1. So file deal 1 is removed. If we check now, ls is gone. File deal, now we have file deal 2. File deal 1 is gone. Look at it here. We have it here. So we have it here. So you can give that a try and delete. So I can delete file deal 2 also. Just come here, and I do 2, and it's gone. ls. No, just do Ctrl C. When you have things like this, just do Ctrl C. I'm not installing anything. Ctrl C takes you out. Let's clear. clear, ls. So I want to delete file. Okay, I've deleted it. So you can use rm, which is remove, to delete file. Then if you want to delete directory, remember I created a hidden directory. So if you are deleting directory, you do remove, then you use capital R to do that. So what we'll do now is let's do ls-al. Now this is what I want to delete. This is what I want to delete here. So let me control shift C, which is copy. So I can do clear. I cannot do rm capital R and paste this. Cannot remove. Okay, let me see if just R alone is going to do it, or do I need to put hyphen in front? Okay, it needs a flag. Let's see. I'm not sure. Okay, it works. So it needed a flag. It's a flag. I needed hyphen to do that. So we cannot do ls la and see if it is there now. It's always at the top of the first one. And if you take a good look at it now, this is the one I created before, and the one I created initially is gone. So let me delete this one also, so that you don't think it's only so I can come here, then take the I just put it in the right format, because this is not an hidden file. It's the one I just showed you now here, but it's going now because I'm sending it into oblivion. So I'm sending it into oblivion. So when I do this, it's gone. Let's do clear. Let's do ls-la. Okay, and it is gone. So if you come back here and do ls, it's gone. So two things I've done now. We did remove the two version. If you are removing for file, it's just rm. But if you are removing for folder, you had hyphen capital R to remove for file. I don't know if this is well understood. Is it well understood? So let's continue. Let me see. I don't want it to be more than 1 hour. Okay, this is an hour 2 minutes. So I'm going to be stopping this here, and I will create another video for the remaining, and I'm going to drop that by tomorrow. So I'm doing this now. So thank you for joining the lesson today, and I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything that you don't understand, you can drop it. Check our Telegram link. You can join the community, and if there's anything you don't understand, just drop it. And you can, in the comment also, in the YouTube comments, you can drop it and tell us, okay, I don't understand this, and we can work around it. We have a lot of people that can contribute, people that really understood, the people that understood it, they can talk about them. I'm going to contribute, and we have some wonderful and special colleagues down the platform also that can seriously be of a good help, and they will really, and they told me they are really very ready to help, to contribute in the community. So thank you so much everyone. So bye bye. So we'll be continuing from page 9 to page 9 to page 9 to going from page 9 to page page 9 to page 16. Okay, so that will be something very fast.